At least it's a good app, right?
It is a pretty good app.
I'm sure that the price tag afforded them a better development of the app.
They know a little thing or two about developing good apps.
Mm-hmm. So Nest, I actually learned this recently. They started as an Apple exec who left Apple.
Left Apple.
And then sold it to Google, funny enough.
We've already got our first hello.
Hey!
Raymond Burgess,
Raymond.
hello. Alexis, have you started a chat with me already? Yeah, there it is.
Yep. Cool. It's gonna be the close-up, the beauty shot. Have you used these? The Nimble stuff?
I literally bought one of those, and it's arrived at my house yesterday. I haven't touched it yet.
They're awesome.
I bought the Uni-Fi cordless vacuum, and it doesn't come with a charger.
Okay.
So that was
Nice.
the recommended charger for it. So for $9, it seemed worth it.
Yeah, their bigger one, the Wally, charges my phone from like 0 to 100 in like 35 minutes.
Dang.
No joke. Very new phone too.
Right.
So it makes all the other chargers I have now completely worthless. But it's a big boy. It's like that tall, but it also charges laptops and everything else. So it's nice.
So for next episode, should I just say middle of December? Keep an eye on Facebook and YouTube for an announcement. So the 14th or 15th? Is that what you said? It said what? Got it. So that was a Tuesday or a Wednesday? What I'm gonna go with. Mid-December.
We've actually sold a bunch of these things.
What is that?
These Withings,
Blood
kind of
pressure
health,
cuff?
smart health stuff.
Yeah.
In the business department. Not for like actual people, because they have an open API, so any company can develop onto their system. So they can have like Epic EPYC, which is the biggest healthcare. I don't know, kind of like CRM. A lot of customers of ours integrate with those so that they can take the blood pressure and it pops right into their system. So it's super interesting. And they're totally wireless, which is much easier for all the nurses and stuff.
We're also going to start with a question that's already come in.
Cool.
That's the question. Down there at the bottom.
Sold his 3080.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Goodness gracious. And looking to downsize, it looks like. Because the A6A.
30 seconds? Got it. My recommendation is probably the Denon, unless you got Musicast going.
Yeah, good call.
4 ohm stable in all channels.
Yep, Yamaha 6 on all
center and the
channels,
surrounds.
4 on the front.
Right. Sweet. I'm gonna let you be a part of answering this.
All right.
You are on the money.
I love doing this. It's always
Mid-Mass
fun.
guy. I'm guessing he's from the middle of Massachusetts, and he's a guy.
That's right.
fade the music out like a professional broadcaster, right? We don't mess around here. Hello and welcome everybody to another Crutchfield Live. I'm your host, JR. I'm the training manager here at Crutchfield. So excited to be back with you. If anybody tried to tune in to us on Monday, we were planning to go live then. We had some unforeseen things get in the way. So today's it. It's the day before Thanksgiving. We're pretty excited. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about deals, things that are great Christmas gifts because it's the season. We're going to talk about OLED TVs and LED TVs. That's why Francis is here. How you doing, man?
Doing well, thank you.
Get ready for the holidays?
I am.
Excellent. We're also going to talk about electric vehicles and hybrids, and we're going to talk with Eric Angevine about some of the stuff we've been setting up for our sales advisors to listen to. We've got a packed show for you today. But we really want to answer your questions and interface with you. If you're watching this live, that would be fantastic. Throw your questions in, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We are watching those things, and we would love to get some conversations going, answer some questions. We've already got a hello from Raymond Burgess on YouTube. Thank you so much, Raymond, for watching with us today. We are going to keep doing these. We're having a lot of fun making these shows. Our next episode will probably be sometime around mid-December or so. Also, we've just started taking the audio from our Crutchfield Lives and repurposing it for Crutchfield the podcast. You know, we're kind of between seasons right now. Season 2 is wrapped up. Season 3, we're hard at work on making Season 3, interviewing cool employees and putting them on our podcast. That stuff will happen like in 2022, but the audio from our Crutchfield Lives will serve as bonus episodes for people that don't necessarily have time to watch these live. They can listen to them on their drive to work. You listen to podcasts?
I do.
Are you a big fan?
I'm a big fan of ours.
You've been on ours.
That's right.
You did a nice job on that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
We've actually, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about electric vehicles and hybrids and what all you can install in those. And we have a poll question. So by the time we get to that discussion, I would love to get your answers to this poll question. Is everybody ready to put the poll question where it needs to go? In the background, Alexis, everybody, you got my poll question? Yeah, cool, sweet.
Thumbs up.
Good, so here's the question regarding electric vehicles. With so many electric vehicles on the market now and more coming soon, it seems like they're announcing a new one every day. There's a lot to choose from. What type of electric vehicle would you be most interested in? Your 4 answer choices are an electric truck or SUV. I mean, there's some cool vehicles coming out. The Rivians, the Jeeps, the Cybertruck. Ooh, nice timing. Lots of cool off-roady type, very capable utilitarian vehicles. Or are you more interested in like a sedan or minivan type of a thing? And there's plenty of those to choose from Teslas to Priuses to, I believe there's some Toyotas. I mean, there's a bunch of those out as well. Or maybe you're not feeling it at all and you're more of an internal combustion person and don't plan on changing anytime soon. And your 4th choice is you're more into hybrids rather than full-on electric. So those are your 4 poll question choices. Would love to see your answers by the time we get Chris from our tech support department in here to talk with me about what it's like to install aftermarket audio gear into electric vehicles and hybrids. Because there's some things to think about that you don't have to think about on internal combustion engine
Little
vehicles.
Different, yeah.
For sure. We posted, we've got some stuff going on. Michael asks, free gifts? Free gifts. That's not what we're doing here. Yeah. These are not free gifts. We're looking into the idea of doing some giveaways on our Crutchfield Live shows. There's, of course, stuff to work out, lawyers to talk to, but we've got t-shirts, we've got cool things that we would love to give to you. We're not ready to do that in today's broadcast, but it is something we would like to do on future broadcasts. And now that I've put it out there, they're going to have to make that happen. Yep. So there you go. Tony says, hey guys, thanks for this episode. We are finally going to upgrade our TV and sound. We are going to be talking about that. Excellent. Matthew says, hello from Michigan. Somebody here says Facebook poll is not working. Is that right?
Uh-oh.
The poll is not there on Facebook. Is it working on YouTube?
Just got it up.
The poll is just now, I see it popped up on YouTube. So there you go. Tell us, electric truck or SUV, sedan or minivan. No thanks, I'll stick with gas, or you're looking to go hybrid. Rigo says, for me, it would be the Ford Lightning truck and Tesla.
Yeah.
I'm a Ford F-150 driver. That Ford Lightning truck might be a future purchase. I am definitely into that. Matthew says electric truck, definitely. Pat says the Lightning already reserved one.
Uh-oh.
Man, the Ford Lightning performing well in our poll already. That's fantastic. Raymond Burgess said a hybrid would be nice on YouTube. So excellent. The conversation is rolling on. We have a comment from a community post that was on our YouTube channel from earlier this week, and I wanted to start by answering that question since it came in a few days ago. A guy named it's on YouTube, Mid-Mass Guy is his username. I'm guessing he's a guy from the middle of Massachusetts. He says, "Hello, Crutchfield. In need of advice. Looking to buy a new AV receiver. Sold my RXA 3080, which, as Francis and I know model numbers, we happen to know that's a really nice,
very good
Yamaha receiver. And surprised you sold it. I mean, that's a great receiver, but there's upgrades out there, sure. My options are Yamaha A6A or a Denon AVR X4700H, two solid receivers. Just a normal 7.1 setup, watching movies and some music. Your input would be great. Thank you."
I love it that he says normal 7.1 system.
Yes.
That brings a smile to my face.
Yeah,
a
like
little bit.
thinking of that as the basic, like that's where you
love it.
start with home theater now. I still only have a 5.1
Sure.
at my house. What do you have?
I've got a 5.1.2. We did the Atmos.
You did Atmos.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. So mid-mass guy just needs 7.1, and I have the two receivers he's considering over here on this computer. If we can bring that up on the screen for everybody to see. These are two really nice receivers. The Denon and the Yamaha, both 9-channel receivers.
Sweet.
Which I recommend, if you know you want 7 channels, I've always recommended get an extra 2 channels. So you're already in the right ballpark there, mid-mass guy, because now you have 2 extra channels. You might be able to buy amp some speakers.
Oh, yeah, good
you
point.
might add some Atmos speakers or some speakers in another room. You've got some headroom, some upgradability.
Sure.
You have some thoughts on this too. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm more of a Denon fan. Denon Marantz, I've stuck with for the past 5-6 years now. So Denons are great. I think you brought up earlier that they're 4-ohm stable across every channel.
What I've got here on the screen is the our comparison of these two, which you can do with products on our website. And that was one of the first things that jumped out at me is the minimum impedance on the Yamaha. You can go down to 4-ohm speakers. And what that kind of means is that amplifier is built to drive lower impedance speakers. So it's a high current amplifier. It's more capable, it's more stable, and should perform better.
Yep.
But it's only 6-ohm stable on the surrounds and the center channel, whereas the Denon's 4-ohm stable across the board.
Yep. A little bit more stable, a little bit more speaker options for in the future if he wants to upgrade. I mean, to Yamaha's defense, very few surround speakers are 4-ohm, but it's definitely something that you'll find if you're trying to go super high end.
Yeah, it's really just an indicator of amp quality. Is all I'm thinking of. Now, Yamaha's putting out a little bit more power at 150 watts compared to 125 watts. And for a basic 7.1 channel setup, I don't know what speakers you have. That could play a role in which one I would recommend, but in all likelihood, either one of these is going to do a fine job.
Yep.
It's not like one of these is a dud and one of these is the winner. You could go with either one and be very happy. For me, it might come down to do you use or did you use MusicCast in your 3080? MusicCast is Yamaha's wireless multi-room audio system, and if you were using MusicCast, and you have MusicCast, maybe speakers in another room or anything like that, if you've set up a system, you should probably stick with Yamaha because this will replace that zone of wireless music.
Yep, and it won't work with the Denon.
Right.
So,
No, Denon has a system. It's called HEOS, and you can basically do the same thing with it, but they don't work together.
Yep.
So,
might have to buy new products, etc. So.
for your other rooms. Yep. So you can't go wrong. Also, a big deal right now is at the moment you cannot place an order for that Yamaha on our website. It's probably stuck in the waters outside of LA in the ports on the West Coast.
On one of those many.
Yeah, so
many,
we don't know when it's
floating
going to arrive
vessels.
here. Once we do know, we'll let you order it. The Denon right now, you could place an order for it. I believe it is still just a pre-order. So it's still not in stock, but we're pretty sure they're on their way. We don't have an exact ETA, so you're going to be waiting until whenever it gets here. You know, supply chain issues, you've probably heard that somewhere before. But I hope that helps mid-mass guy, because you can't go wrong with either one. Francis and I both think probably the Denon is the winner here. All right, you ready to get into TVs?
I'm so ready.
Awesome. Let's see, what we got. Any other comments before we do that? Matthew says electric truck, lightning, already reserved one. Brian, have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Briggs says happy early Thanksgiving, y'all. Heck yeah. On YouTube, Alonzo, AV receiver with Polk speakers. Oh, we're going to stick with the AV receiver discussion for a second.
Sweet.
AV receiver with Polk speakers versus the new Klipsch soundbar with a wireless sub and surround speakers. Oh, that's... Well, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, is the speaker wire already run?
Yeah.
Is that going to be easy to run speaker wire for it? That's typically the biggest deciding factor.
Certainly the ease of setup, the Klipsch soundbar wins hands down.
And they are awesome. Soundbars are not like they were 5 years ago.
No, they are not. That Klipsch
incredible.
soundbar, I've heard it. We've done some product spotlight video on it. It's an amazing soundbar, and that's a pretty great sounding system, and it would rival many dedicated, separate component home theater systems. That being said, an AV receiver with more channels and more speakers and a tougher install, but in the end, more discrete sound, more accurate surround sound. You can have more speakers. You can go with speakers in your ceiling. You have more capability.
Yep, and much more customization.
Correct.
If one channel's too loud, you can turn it down in the receiver menu, etc. So yeah, tough call.
Yeah. Both are great. It kind of depends on how ease of setup versus how many options do you want. Brian Hanover just said LOL. So apparently we said something funny. Eduardo says hi. Thank you guys so much. All right. One of our main discussion points today, and the reason Francis is here is because we want to talk about the difference between OLED TVs and LED TVs. A lot of people shopping for TVs right now. We've got a lot of sporting events coming up, and TVs are popular. TVs are looking better than ever. And it's still a common question we get on the phones and our chats when our sales advisors are talking with people. What should I get, an OLED or an LED? And you have some thoughts on this. I'm going to bring up an article we've got on it, but if you want to just sort of get the conversation rolling.
Sure, yeah. So first of all, it's an important question because as we know, TVs are not cheap and they're investments you make, and you shouldn't need to buy a TV for another 5-10 years, at least if you buy one from us, as we sell some pretty good ones here. When it comes down to this question, we're specifically looking at QLED, which is a Samsung technology, versus OLED, which was created by LG, but Sony also uses this technology. Before we get off, which one's better, for this situation versus that one, JR and I were talking, everyone essentially agrees here at Crutchfield, get the biggest TV you can for the room. You can measure it out, you can talk to the spouse, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, make sure that you can get the biggest TV possible in the room, because really that is important, very, very important.
Absolutely. Viewing distances, you can sit closer to TVs than you ever have before because the resolution is there. It won't start looking blurry or anything like that like your old TV did. You can sit way close, and if you can't sit way close, it's even more important to get the biggest TV you can get. And if you can get the biggest OLED available, they're not cheap. But yeah, that's the thing to do. If you have to choose between an OLED you can afford and an LED that's bigger, go LED, because LEDs are looking great as well.
Absolutely, and getting better every year. The biggest thing that comes down to what is best for you is going to be your environment, what room you're in, what you like to watch, etc. To put it really basic, OLEDs will have the best contrast ratio of any TV that's really ever come out as far as technology. We kind of talk about it as the natural successor of plasma. So if you do have a plasma TV now and you really like those inky blacks, OLED is the natural kind of step up from that. It's truly better in every way, I would argue. But that's going to be the biggest thing, is what you're watching and where you're watching it. OLED TVs are generally not as bright as the vast majority of LED TVs, from the cheapest to the most expensive. Whereas LED TVs, because they literally have lights behind them.
Yeah, let's talk about the fundamental difference, right? And an LED TV is called an LED TV because there are light emitting diodes. There's a big panel of them behind the screen.
Yep.
And how many lights there are goes up with the more you spend. The better TV that you get, the more of those light bulbs there will be.
You got it. Yeah, it used to be you'd have one backlight in an LED
It'd be
TV.
a fluorescent tube.
Yeah. And it was amazing.
Like in your ceiling.
Yeah. And then we kind of got better. Monitors have used, I think they call it edge lighting for many, many years.
Yep.
With bigger TVs, that just can't work when you have a 75-inch TV with a light that's going around, the outside perimeter. So manufacturers kind of wised up to this and started creating backlighting zones where they literally have different lights on different parts of the TV. The biggest benefit of that is you do get a brighter TV with more actual lights behind it.
Yep.
But also you can turn those lights off or dim them depending on what's being shown on the TV.
And the best LED TVs have a lot of lights. They're very small, so they can have even more of them.
Yep.
And they do something called local dimming. So you'll see it called full array local dimming, or FALD. And that is going to be your top of the line LED. So you can get better contrast. Parts of, like for example, if you're watching a scene of a movie where it's like the dark sky and you've got dark sky with stars over here and the moon over here. And that moon needs to be bright. The light bulbs around the moon can be turned on, and the light bulbs in the rest can be dimmed or turned off.
Yep, and it really is the test of a nice LED TV. If you get a really dark, static image with a very bright highlight on it, you will see those backlighting zones, the cheaper TV you're looking at.
So with an OLED, the difference is that each of the 8 or so million pixels that there are in the screen are their own individual light source, self-illuminating. So you have pixel level dimming, not just zones of bulbs, but each individual pixel can be turned on or off as far as that goes. So
each individual subpixel.
Subpixel. And so that moon will not have any kind of halo around it because of the the bulbs, but only the pixels that actually light up the moon will be lit up, and the rest can be turned off. So that's where you get your better contrast ratios. That's why those TVs can be thinner. And we actually have a video that will sort of show this and illustrate it. We didn't do it though. This video comes from a YouTube channel I've been following for years. They're called the Slo Mo Guys, and they have taken a camera and put it like right up next to a TV, filmed it in like a high frame rate so that they could slow it down, and you could just kind of see like the subpixels, and you can see the light and how all of that works. So are we ready to play that, guys? All right, so here's a little clip from that Slo Mo Guys video.
We're so close up right now that I can actually disturb this image by blowing on the lens. We're now looking at the subpixel level. A pixel is made up of 3 subpixels, red, green, and blue. RGB, you may have heard that before. And this creates the illusion of different colors. By dimming and brightening different subpixels to different intensities, this screen can create the illusion of literally millions of different colors. Now I'm going to point it at where some black text is. Now interestingly, even though this area is black, because all the subpixels have dimmed, they are still in fact backlit. Let me show you that right now. Now you can see as we push in here, you have to pardon the noise. We're at an extremely high ISO to get this shot through a macro lens. But you can see even the dimmed pixels, part of the liquid crystal display is it's now trying to block all light from penetrating through, but it's still a backlit pixel. And that's one of the fundamental limitations of an LCD screen. You can see this effect on an LCD screen in the credits of a film because you've got an almost completely black image, but because there's white text, the entire backlight has to be on to display the white, which means light will leak out from the black pixels, which means it's not true black. This is a 77-inch LG OLED TV. The way OLED technology works is that each pixel is self-illuminating, depending on how much voltage is passing through it, which means there's no global backlight on the TV. Each pixel is individually in control of how bright it is, and it's not being lit from behind. And that means when we go to our high ISO experiment, just like we did on the LCD, that when there's an area of black on the screen, all of those pixels are off. And you can see here where I'm putting my cursor in front of the lens, you can see each subpixel lighting up and then completely turning off when it goes away. This technology means much deeper blacks and the possibility of a very thin screen.
Big thank you to the Slo Mo Guys, Gav and Dan, for letting us play a little section of their video. I'm a big fan of their channel. Check them out for sure. And my favorite visual in that video is at the end there when he's moving around the little magic remote that LG TVs often come with. There's a little orange cursor on the screen. You can see it in that video. And that's just how quickly and how accurately pixel level dimming happens on a good OLED TV like that.
It's incredible. I mean, you can barely see the pixel standing an inch away from the TV too, you know, so it's mind-boggling.
Yep. One other big difference between OLEDs and LED TVs is viewing angle, right? So viewing angle, if you have a wide seating area, an OLED will give you vivid colors, clear picture, and will generally look better even off to the sides, far left and right. If you're looking straight on, either TV looks pretty great. LEDs, OLEDs, not a huge difference there, but viewing angle kind of makes a difference.
It's definitely a big selling feature of OLED, period. Yep.
So sort of to sum up, it all comes down to light and viewing angle. The light in your room, if you have a very bright room or if you want to watch TV in the daytime with, you know, the curtains open and the sunlight pouring in, you might want an LED TV because it will be brighter. Colors will look better in that bright sort of situation. If you have a room where you're gonna watch movies at night, you can darken the room, and you want the most cinematic experience possible, OLED's got you covered, and that's probably the best way to go. Of course, there's a lot more to it. How much do they cost? How much can you afford? What size can you get? And all of those should be factored in as well. And the good news is the best LED TVs are looking almost as good as OLEDs. And the best OLED TVs are almost as bright as LED TVs. They continue to refine and perfect these two main technologies. So get a good one. Get the biggest and the best one you can afford. And if you have to make a choice, go with bigger.
Yeah, and obviously reach out to us. You know, our sales advisors are more than willing to hear you out, listen to your actual unique needs, and make a good recommendation. So definitely reach out to us, chat us, call us, and we'd be more than happy to discuss that with you.
As long as we're talking TVs, let's talk a little bit about getting 4K. How do you get 4K? Most of us watch TV through streaming these days. I mean, a lot of the stuff we want to watch is only available on streaming. Amazon and Netflix and HBO original shows, I mean, that you're probably streaming them, and you can stream them in 4K. With some of those apps, you're going to pay a little extra, like with Netflix. With some of them, Disney, HBO, Amazon, it's kind of just included. You just got to have the hardware. What hardware do you need to be able to stream in 4K?
Yeah, that's probably the best part of smart TVs in general, is that you don't need anything when you buy one nowadays. The apps are either preloaded on the machine, or you can download them from an app store. LG's got their store. Sony has Google Play. They use Android operating system on their TVs. So the wonderful thing is when you buy that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 TV, you are ready to go, short of having an internet you know, at your house that's fast enough. I think our rule of thumb is 25 megabits per second.
I was doing some searching on this. HBO recommends 50.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? And so, but yes, suffice it to say, you need good internet.
Correct.
And 25 to 50 or better will be enough.
Yeah, and then the next thing on there is, just like JR said, you have to pay for the streaming service. Some of them do have different tiers to get 4K. Netflix is definitely one where you have to pay attention to that. And they've got, it gets complicated, unfortunately, on those. But just read through on that specific subscriber. They'll talk about the features they offer at a specific you know, price point. You'll just want to make sure that if you've got a 4K TV, go for the 4K version. It is absolutely you know, a game changer compared to 1080p or full HD.
Yep.
You know, and then last but not least, when you're actually kind of getting into this, you do have separate streaming boxes. And I still really like this idea. So as opposed to using your LG Magic Remote and just clicking on the Netflix app, you might want to get an Apple TV 4K You might want to get an NVIDIA Shield TV. It's the one I use personally, or Chromecast. Roku is extremely popular. And the biggest benefit of those is that they tend to be a little bit quicker. So when you're loading an app, when you're skipping forward or going back or scrubbing, as we call it, you're going to have a slightly better experience on a dedicated set-top box as you would with a built-in app. That's kind of a rule of thumb, as the cheaper device you buy for streaming might actually be slower than the nicest, Sony or LG's built-in apps are.
Yeah.
As again, everything's getting better and faster and brighter every year.
It's funny you mentioned this. My girlfriend's neighbor said, "Hey, can you help me with my Netflix? My TV won't play Netflix anymore." And basically, we boiled it down to the Netflix app in her 5 or 6 year old Samsung TV doesn't
No
work
longer
anymore.
supported. Yeah.
And so I happened to notice she's renting this house, and she didn't even buy the TV. She's just like using it. And there's an Apple TV sitting right there. I'm like, hey, let's turn that on.
Let's try this one.
And lo and behold, the Netflix app there worked just fine.
That's
so
awesome.
we made her day. So hardware. You need something that streams in 4K. Newer TVs obviously do it. The best Rokus and Apple TVs do it. You need really good internet to make it happen, and you'll be able to stream in 4K, and it will look better than non-4K.
Without a doubt.
Is there anything that could possibly look better than streaming in 4K?
Absolutely. So this kind of comes down to what type of user you are. If you were someone that went out to Blockbuster or did Netflix when they sent you a disc in the mail,
I did that.
Yeah, I did too.
That's how I watched all the seasons of 24.
Nice.
I had to get like the 5 discs at a time planned to be able to binge
20
it.
different rotations of discs through the mail, through snail mail. Anyway, then streaming is by far just the saving grace of that old style world. It's very inconvenient. You had to physically go or put something in the mail to get that stuff. So streaming for most people, 4K, Dolby Vision, HDR, on a smart TV or dedicated set-top box is truly incredible, without a doubt. However, anytime we're streaming something over the internet, there is major compression taking place. So the kind of rule of thumb, as far as every streaming service does it a little bit better. Apple TV Plus has a pretty good compression that they use. Netflix is really aggressive. Amazon's aggressive. But essentially what they're doing is they're taking that, let's say it's a 4K file, they're taking a 4K Blu-ray and they are squeezing it down and removing all this extra information so that we can actually stream it on our non-fiber internet at an typical American home.
It's kind of like listening to an MP3 compared to a CD.
Absolutely. And we'll go on record saying for the vast majority of music consumers, MP3 files are great. They're convenient. You can hold thousands of them, on a small iPod Nano.
Incredibly convenient.
Absolutely. So there is no competition with streaming as far as convenience. It is the most convenient way to watch something in great quality. However, if you don't want to have to rely on that streaming service or internet, or knowing that if it's going to be there in a year, it might leave Netflix. We've been watching some shows recently that left Netflix halfway through the season. Then the best thing you can possibly do is buy a 4K Blu-ray player. We sell tons of these, and the biggest major difference is you're not compressing that media any more than the original company that released that disc decided was the best quality they could fit on a disc. So quality-wise, the biggest thing you'll notice, video, if you pixel peep as we call it, you will notice some better video. Audio is vastly better on a physical medium. You're dealing with uncompressed DTS, DTS-X or True HD or Dolby Atmos from Dolby is infinitely better on a physical disc, especially if you're, have a nice home theater like a lot of our customers do, or have a nice sound bar that can actually deal with that dynamic range.
So if the best possible movie watching experience is your deal, the biggest OLED you can get with a 4K Blu-ray player.
Without a doubt.
If you just want to watch whatever you want to watch, whenever you want to watch it, then any TV is going to do great. Just get as big as you can afford and stream everything.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be very happy. That's kind of what I do. I'm a streamer. Are you a disc guy?
I'm both. I stream 90% of the time, but when I have that one movie I want to watch that I want to own, buying the 4K Blu-ray disc is definitely the best way to watch stuff, even today.
So it happens to be a good time to buy TVs.
Yeah,
There's
got a
a
few
bunch
sales.
of them. There's a bunch of them in stock, and there's a bunch of good sale prices going on right now. I am on the website currently. I went to our the section where our TVs are, and let's see here. I think this is where specials are. Yeah. So I went to TV and video deals and specials. I'm looking at TVs, and there is lots of money off.
Wow.
$50, 150. Gosh, I think I want more than that. How about $500 off? Samsung the Frame, which is a fantastic
extremely
looking TV.
popular TV.
Yep. $500 off of those. Some of them are out of stock, but a lot of these are in stock. How about this one? $1,000 off. Samsung the Cero.
Those are crazy.
That's a neat looking TV.
Yeah.
There is a bunch of great deals on TVs, and I think the most important thing I'm seeing here is these two words, in stock.
Amen.
A lot of stuff is hard to come by right now. Got a bunch of great TVs in stock and on sale. Sony OLEDs, you can save $700 on. LG OLEDs, couple $100, and some Sony LEDs, some Samsung frames. So lots of great deals on TVs. If you're looking to upgrade, now is a great time. Just checking our comments here. We've got a couple people mentioning stuff. Andrew says, love Crutchfield. When are car stereos coming back in stock? It hurts. It hurts you. It hurts us. But we need more truck drivers and a more efficiently run port. And when we get all that fixed, we'll have more in stock. Fred says, great info. My wife needs to see this so it doesn't seem so bad when I go buy a 75-inch Sony. Have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, fantastic, Fred. Thank you for that comment. Made my day. Francis, thank you so much for talking TVs with me and
Absolutely.
4K and all of that. We're going to move the conversation on to some of this fun stuff sitting right here. So thanks again, man. You're going to hang out just in case we get some follow-up questions?
Of course. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you, man. Our next guest started in sales training at the same day I did here at Crutchfield, even though he worked in our retail store before that. Come on in, Peter Logan.
Hey.
You've been here a couple years longer than I have, but you and I have been working in this building since the same day.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. In 1996, we went through 3 months of sales training together, and that was a memorable experience.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
You had hair back then.
I did. I had a lot more hair. I wore glasses back then, and now I wear contacts. Did you wear glasses back then?
No.
So opposite day. Crazy. Peter, you're working in merchandising these
Yes.
days, and so which means you're responsible for buying stuff. And we sell car stereos, TVs, home theaters. Like that's our kind of our core stuff, the stuff we've been selling forever. But there's a lot of other really fun stuff in the mix here that we wanted to make sure got some attention right here because a lot of these are great gift ideas. This is gonna be like, the Today Show or something. You're gonna show off some of the coolest stuff we've got here.
Yeah, I was watching the show earlier, and of course, everyone needs a big screen television under the tree. I mean, that's
For sure.
But if you need something else to supplement that, or
Right.
some smaller boxes,
Yeah.
we do have. And I get this question a lot this time of year. I want something that's kind of cool, that's kind of neat, and it's affordable, so I can give to my brother, uncle, nieces, nephews, and so kind of want to bring out an example of some things that we really like to use. I mean, this is cool stuff, it's fun stuff, and it's great giftable stuff as well. I think everything we're going to talk about today is probably under $100,
Yeah.
and most of it substantially less. So it's great gift giving idea. So,
Where are we gonna start, man? We got a bunch of neat stuff here.
gosh, where do we
I
start?
think we start with this guy right here.
Okay, the Noco GB40. That's a great. So basically, it's a portable jump starter.
Yeah.
And this is a must-have. I use one of these. I know a lot of us use one of these. Basically, it's a giant, heavy-duty rechargeable battery that you keep in your car, in the trunk, or somewhere. And then if you ever need a jump start, you just fire this up, put the jumpers on there, and it has enough power to jump most cars multiple times.
Yep.
So it's a great tool. You don't have to have jumper cables all over the place. It's just, again, it's a small, just portable device.
I had a portable jumper battery thing that we used to sell, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
Yep.
That thing was basically a car battery with a handle on it. And it took like 2 days to charge it up. right? This thing charges up like by a USB.
Yes.
And I have one sits in my car. It has started up my pickup truck, my F-150, multiple times, and it's not even huge. I couldn't believe how well it was able to work. And you should have one of these in your car.
Yeah, I keep one and I charge it maybe about once or twice a year. I make sure it's charged because things like this, of course, when you need them, they got to be charged. So
Yeah.
just remember to charge them. But in addition to just jumping your car, it's got some other convenient features that makes it a great companion for your vehicle. It's got a flashlight in there, so if you need to change a tire or you need something to have a flashlight around your car, it also has some USB outputs as well. So if you need to bump up and charge your phone or your tablet or whatever, you have a portable power source as well. So it'll jump your car. It's a flashlight. It's a portable power source. Again, a great gift and a great thing to keep in your car.
I've used it camping to keep my phone charged at night in the tent when I didn't have any other way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. Everybody should have one, and not only to jumpstart your own car and keep your own stuff charged, but how much fun is it to be that person that saves the day for somebody else who left their headlights on, doesn't have jumper cables? You're like, I got you. I don't even need to do the thing where we put my car right up next to yours. I'm just going to walk over, plug this in. Hey, start it up, and you're good to go. And it allows you to be that good Samaritan.
I have a buddy who actually is a tow truck driver, and he keeps one of these in his car because it's so much faster, convenient, easier. When he gets a call for a dead battery, he just kind of pops out, puts that on there, starts it, and walks off. And people are like,
You pay
"What?"
for one tow truck driver to start your vehicle, and you could have bought one of these.
Absolutely.
You mentioned flashlight. This is also a flashlight. What do we got here?
This is another one of my favorite things. I keep this in my car at all times. So it's a multi-device tool. It's a flashlight, of course. One of the cool things about it is it does charge through a solar panel. So it can charge it up. So a flashlight on this end. It's also got a sort of a floodlight, a white LED floodlight on the side, and also red flashing lights on the side. So if you do have a breakdown or your car's on the side of the road, you can have some flashing red lights. It'll also flash SOS, which is that dash, dot, combination of dots and
Right,
dashes.
dash, dot,
Yeah.
dash.
So it'll blink SOS.
I think.
But wait, there's more.
What?
Yes, this is kind of cool. It's got, I'm telling you, it's got a seatbelt cutter on here. So if you do get in an accident and your seatbelt's stuck, you can't. It has a little blade here, so you can cut a seatbelt. And also on the end, it has a glass break sensor. Not a sensor, a glass break little thing.
Yeah, like it's a point. So you can break the glass if there's a fire, a flood, you went into a river, whatever.
Right.
You need to break that glass to get your kid out. You see dogs left in cars on a hot day, you can go break their window
Yes.
and get their dog out. I don't know. Am I recommending that?
No, yes.
You could.
No,
I'm not saying you should.
You could. That's
could.
the important
Just
thing.
one of the
is that
many things you could do with it.
So just keeping this in your car, again, a flashlight, a floodlight, a blinking light, a seatbelt cutter, a glass breaker thing. It also has a magnet on the side. So again, if you're broke down and you want to put it on the side so it's flashing, or you want to put it on your car and point down to your flat tire while you change it, the end comes off, and it also, with the internal battery, also will charge your portable device as well. So if you're out of power somewhere. So like I said, I keep this in my car at all times because it's easy to charge. It's a flashlight. It's a floodlight. It slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries. It's a great tool and a great giftable thing as well. Everybody could use
$30.
this. Yeah, right.
$30. That's the price
Everybody
today during
could
the
use
live.
this.
Prices can change, but that's a crazy great Christmas gift.
Yeah, I
who
love
doesn't want that? Here we got the NOCO. We've got the solar-powered flashlight. This is also solar-powered and is a light. And what the heck is it?
Seem to be a lot of themes of solar light power. This is another great tool that I like. It's by Eton. It's called the Aqua Light, and it is another great giftable item. There's so many things going on here, I don't even know where to start. First of all, it does have a solar collector on here and a small internal battery, so it is a lantern. So you can just turn it on. It's got a couple of different modes that you can use as a portable lantern if you want. It also can be used as a water bottle. So if you get somewhere, you need to get some water for your dog, and when you're out and about, it's a water bottle. But you open this up, and there's even more.
Oh, wait, is there more?
There absolutely is. If you call now, there is, let me see if I can pour all this stuff out to see it. There is a water filter. So if you're stranded somewhere and you needed to drink some water, you can just like one of those straws that you can sip through and purify the water.
So you're not supposed to just drink straight out of the creek?
I mean,
I've done that.
we all have done that, but that's, yeah. You
But
should
this
use
is
that.
a better thing.
There is
Safer.
there is a fire starter. So if you get somewhere and you need to start a fire, there's some flint and steel in here that you can use to start fires. There is a carabiner. There's even a whistle. So again, if you're in an emergency situation, this is a great thing to have. It's a lantern. It's a water bottle. It's
Band-Aids.
Bandages. They're bandages. Yes.
Right.
Little sting swabs. So if you get stung by a bee or something, you can. So all this stuff comes in this great little thing. So again, it's a flashlight. I mean, a lantern for camping. That solar charges. It's a water bottle.
And it's $25.
Amazing gift. Everyone has this on your car, in your boat. I just use it sometimes on the patio, just as a sort of a little just hanging little, lantern light. So it's again an amazing gift thing that comes with all these things. That honestly, I have this and I don't use all these other things. But I could, and that's the whole point of having something that's giftable and you're prepared for stuff.
Do you have anything that is not solar powered?
Let me put all these things.
We don't need to clean up the mess now.
No,
We'll do that later.
All right. So, not solar powered. Yes, I do have a couple of things. This is a charger. It's by a company called Nimble, and I love this. This is the Wally Mini, and it's a small little USB power brick. And the reason this is so cool is, first of all, it has both USB-A and USB-C. Now, you've seen a lot more devices now are moving toward the newer, faster, higher charging capabilities of USB-C.
Yep.
New phones aren't coming with power bricks in
And the
in
difference
box
is
anymore.
incredible. The phones charge significantly faster.
Right. There's
from
intelligent
USB-C.
communication, so they don't overcharge them. So it has both a USB-C as well as a traditional USB-A. So this is a great thing to keep in your backpack or your purse or wherever you need to
And
charge
a lot of stuff you buy these days, they need one of those, but they don't come with one of those.
Right. And this is 20 watts, so it's sort of that's the sort of the new standard for portable chargers. And in fact, I like it that it's got these retractable prongs, so you can keep it in your backpack, and
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you always have a charger there that can do, again, USB-A, USB-C. You can charge whatever you need to, and it's a great thing. The other thing I like about Nimble is they're a very environmentally conscious, environmentally friendly company. The packaging is all made out of recycled cardboard. Even the plastics in there are made from recycled water bottles. One of the neatest things about all of the products that they sell is it comes with a small self-addressed envelope in the product boxes. So when you go through your drawer, I know you have this drawer, I have it too. You open up that drawer of old cables and old chargers and any old electronics. You can stuff it into this little bag, seal it up, and send it back to them, and they will recycle it for absolutely free.
Oh, no kidding.
So not only do you buy a new device that,
Well,
is being used out of recycled materials, but you can take some of that old stuff that's accumulated in, like that 30-pin charger that you had for your old iPod that's in that drawer, stuff it in this bag, send it back to them, and they will recycle it for absolutely free.
Start a new collection of cables.
Yes, right. So
That you can then recycle in another 10 years. That's awesome.
yeah, so it's a great
and
company,
Nimble-
and I love that product.
And Nimble has all the cables. I've been looking recently. I need to get another Lightning to USB-C cable. So yeah, this is great. And they've got the portable chargers. Honestly, I don't even know if you know this. I just bought a portable charger. I bought the Wally, so I don't actually need this one you just gave me, but thank you. Anyway, but yeah, this stuff makes great gifts. I'm buying it for me. I'm buying it for my girlfriend. It's awesome.
And to your point, and you recognize this, and we do, but a lot of folks don't realize, again, that USB-C is sort of the new emerging standard. Micro USB that's been popular for years and years and years is pretty much going away. So we're going to be left very shortly with USB-C and Lightning to charge most of our devices.
Matthew from Facebook says the Nimble Wally Mini is a great stocking stuffer. Yeah, he's picking up what you're putting down.
Excellent.
No doubt about it. So thank you very much, Matthew. Cool. What else you got there? You got anything like that? Looks like a blood pressure cuff.
It is actually very good. This is by a company called Withings. They make a series of health monitors. and it is a portable battery-operated blood pressure cuff. So you put it on your arm. There's a small little display that's built in here, and you pair it with the Withings HealthMate app. And not only can you monitor your own blood pressure, but it reports it to the app. So you don't have to keep a handwritten log. It tells you when you took it, what your blood pressure was. Then you're able to share this if you want with your medical professional.
Yeah.
As we all know, a lot of doctor's appointments these days are telehealth medicines, or telehealth appointments. And the first thing they do is they ask you, what's your blood pressure? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well now you can measure your weight at home, you can measure your temperature, and now you can measure your blood pressure, whether it's a blood pressure issue or just something you want to keep around. And again, great device. It's on sale right now. I believe it's $69
Let's find
on
out.
sale.
I should have looked it up. I'm behind.
I should know the price, but I know it is on sale right now. But again, it's a great
Let's
thing.
see how good he is. What do you think it is?
I think $69.95.
This is the Withings BPM Connect.
It is.
$69.95. Currently on sale, $30 off. Normally $100.
There you go.
So yeah, it's on sale. It's all in stock.
Right? That's you.
Yeah,
That's
we
your
can
favorite
ship
word.
it to you right now. That's awesome, man. I have a Withings scale. I love it. I'm tracking my weight loss, and I'm maintaining at the moment. But
I use a lot of Withings products, and it's great because they all do report, to that app. So the HealthMate app, your scale reports to that, your blood pressure monitor reports to that.
Yep.
It can also feed if you use something like the Health app on
Yeah.
Apple. It not only keeps that information within the Withings apps, but it can share it to other apps, and it also can share with with your medical professional. So if you're actively monitoring your blood pressure at home, you can share it with your doctor, and that's a great thing. So not only can you take it easier, but there's a log, and it's easy to share as well.
Awesome.
They also make another Withings tool that's one of my favorites. I didn't bring it with me today. Is they have a small digital thermometer that I love. It's great. It can monitor multiple people in the household. So multiple users can do it. They can all report to one app. But like I don't know if you do this, but the Withings scale, my wife uses it, but she says there's no way that you're knowing what my readings are. So
Right.
it can report just to her. So when she steps on the scale, it recognizes who she is and reports the information to her scale. And then when I step on, again, it recognizes me just from weight range and reports to mine. So there's no intermingling of information.
Yeah,
Unless you want it.
No, I don't want anybody to know what I weigh.
Well, for parents, for instance, it's great if you want
go.
to have, monitor your kids' temperatures.
Is this the Withings thermometer you
Yes,
were
it is.
talking about? Also on sale, $64.95 at the moment, and in stock.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we got time for this last guy right here.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about charging and stuff. This is actually a multi-device charger. It's from Scosche. It's not a wireless charger, but it allows you to put, these days we've got multiple devices, right? So you can put, in this case, you can put your gaming console on here. You can put your tablet on here, and there's multiple charging ports on the side. This one has two USB-A and a USB-C, again, because for different devices out there. And then you just kind of stack your devices up here, and then you plug them in as needed.
Yeah.
So I really like this. It's a place for everything in its place, right? So we know when you need to charge something, this is where the charger is. It has a place to live. It has a place to charge. Right now, we've also got a great deal going on with this, which is also in stock, that if you buy one of these, and it comes in black and sort of in a white color as well, you get 2 free 1-foot cables. So this, whether it's a USB-C to C, A to Lightning, A to C, we have a bunch of different options. So this way you can plug it into the side of here, and then you can, you don't have a whole bunch of cables all over the place. So it's a very clean, organized solution that allows you, again, a place to charge everything, and again, a great deal going on right now with these 2 cables. This is also part of a larger modular system, so you can snap off these edges, and you can expand this. There's another one that has an Apple Watch charger. There's another one that has a Qi charger. So again, you can kind of use it like this, or it can be expanded as a modular system to add on additional little pieces, per your individual needs.
Wait, is it Qi or Chi?
Oh, we've talked about definitely Qi.
It's definitely Qi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in trouble. Peter yelled at me for calling it a Qi charger. It's not a Qi charger.
But yeah.
It's a Qi charger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Good. Cool. Qi wireless charging. It's all over the place
Yes,
now.
and more and more devices have it, and so that's another growing trend. So, and we should talk about this on another time when we have some more time to kind of get in depth. Is there's all these new emerging, standards with wireless charging, with USB-C, with MagSafe with Apple. So there's a lot of exciting things happening, and that drawer full of cables and chargers that you had that you can recycle when you get the Nimble. By the way, can I get that back when you're
No,
done?
you said you gave it to me. We have video evidence of that.
You can get rid of those cables and move toward some of the newer stuff. So we'll talk about that next time.
Since you asked. There you go. Peter, this was a very powerful presentation.
And again,
Did you see? No, I heard one chuckle on that one. Come on, people. Everything here provides power except for the blood pressure cuff. So, yeah, right? Thank you so much.
and again, great
parting words?
great gifts.
Yes.
Affordable, and again, put that big screen television under there. But if you're looking for
After you get that,
yeah, really cool, just neat things and it's funny because we all use these things. I mean, this is I use I own almost all. I think I own all these things. They're things that are great, affordable, and good to use. So.
and the sooner you buy it, the sooner it is likely to be in stock. These things, like everything these days, will probably sell out at some point, right? And then you will have to look for something else to put under the tree in your stocking. A lot of stuff available right now and on sale. It's a good time to be doing your Christmas shopping. So,
Absolutely.
See what you want, buy it. If the price goes down even further, we got your back, 60-day price guarantee on it. Peter Logan, thank you for showing us all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being
Pleasure
here.
as always.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to totally change gears, and we're going to start talking about electric vehicles. I'm going to kick Peter out and bring Chris Baker in. You know Chris, he's been here
I do.
quite a long time.
He has.
He knows his thing or two.
I'm going to hang around if you don't mind.
I would
I
love
want
it.
to see some of the things you have coming up.
We might see some more questions come in, so if we do, then might bring you back.
Cool. Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Cleaning up the mess Peter left. Gosh. There we go. While Chris is coming in, I want to give you the results from the poll we did earlier. I asked you guys what type of electric vehicle would you be most interested in, and your choices were electric truck or SUV, electric sedan or minivan, or a hybrid vehicle, or no thanks, I'll keep my gas-powered vehicle. And do you know what the winner was?
I don't.
Have you seen it
I
yet?
I haven't been watching the poll, no.
Take a guess. What do you think won? With 50% of the vote.
Gonna go there keeping their gas cars?
Nope.
No? Okay.
No, there's a lot of excitement about electric trucks and SUVs.
That's true. Some of the products coming out from Ford especially, I know there's a lot of excitement about the giant F-150.
The Lightning.
The Lightning, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to get our hands on one of those for sure. Sure.
Hybrid vehicles got 33% of the vote. Electric sedan or minivan got 16% of the vote. 0 people watching this said, no thanks, I want to keep my internal combustion engine.
Nice. The ICE cars are, it's a transition, definitely. It's a whole paradigm shift in technology. People getting used to the idea of driving electric cars around. It's like, well, how much do I really drive every day? The range anxiety is the biggest complaint that we get. Not we get, but I mean that I hear, and people discussing the potential for changing over to an electric car.
So with so many people clearly interested in electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, either because they're really cool or because they are better for the environment, or they're quieter, or whatever your reason for getting one, at some point you might want to think about upgrading the audio system, because just because they're electric doesn't mean they all of a sudden started putting great systems in cars.
Right. Doesn't mean they've necessarily designed a great sound system for it, although they have designed highly super efficient sound systems for the cars.
Because we have a limited supply of electricity for the accessories in the car, right?
Correct.
So an internal combustion engine has an alternator that charges a battery, and the size of the alternator and the battery and the wiring sort of determines how many amps of current you can draw off of that to power your stuff. That amplifier, your windshield wipers, the heater. I mean, anything that uses electricity.
Electric power steering, for example, uses 5 or 6 amps of current every time you turn your wheel.
So,
and that depends on the size of the vehicle. the Lightning, I'm sure that's going to be a bit more because of the giant tires and, you know, the mass of the vehicle and everything.
So in a regular internal combustion engine vehicle, you can upgrade your alternator and your battery and your wiring to create more headroom, you have more power
Correct.
to use to power more stuff like big
Oh, yeah.
amplifiers for subwoofers and stuff
Sure.
like that.
There are even companies who will remanufacture an alternator for you and give you the ability to have, instead of a 120 amp alternator, you might be able to boost it up to 185 or 200.
That's not possible to do in most hybrid and electric vehicles, though, right? Because it's a whole
not at all
different equation.
possible. Yeah, nobody's doing that.
So let's talk hybrids first and then electric vehicles second. With hybrid vehicles, we've been seeing those around for a long time now.
Sure.
And when I look in my computer and I'm helping a customer, there's a big note about how big of a system we could put in there.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that? Why are we limited in a hybrid vehicle?
Well, we don't want to leave people stranded with a big bill for repairing their car just because they put a solid bumping, you know, big fat sound system in their vehicle.
There's this humongous battery in there.
There is.
In addition to an engine in a hybrid vehicle.
Right.
Don't I have all the electricity I could possibly need to put a big stereo in there?
For a few minutes, sure. The thing is that maybe even up to an hour, it might take a while, but if you exceed the current draw, even on a traditional alternator, if you exceed the current draw of that device with your system, because you still have to run the car, you still have to run the headlights, the heater, the various whatever runs off of that electrical system, has still got to have current available for all those things. And on a traditional ICE car with an alternator, if you hit around close to that 100% mark, you're in the zone of you're going to damage it soon. And literally, if you hit 115% current demand, which you seriously could with a big subwoofer pounding in the back with a 1,000, 1,500 watt amp, whatever it might be, as soon as that thing hits 115% of current draw, that alternator is toast. And an alternator, you can call up one of your local auto parts stores and go down and go get one usually pretty easily. They've been around for decades and decades, and it's a straight up proposition to swap one out in most cars. I've done it a few times myself. It's a PITA, but with the DC to DC converters in the hybrids and the electrics, it's a different setup. On the hybrids, we have the known headroom that we've got experience with and we've seen. We understand the controllers and such that they have going on there, and we feel safe and confident in recommending that current draw level as not putting you in a bad situation with an expensive car repair and not being able to get to work one morning, those kinds of things.
And that number is 30 amps, right?
Right,
And to put that into
that's our
context,
number.
that's like if you put a massive 1,000-watt subwoofer amplifier,
Not going to do it.
You need what, like 80 amps of current to power a massive amplifier like that.
Right.
So you're not going to put in a humongous, big, beefy bass system. You can do some stuff though. You can add a small amp, a small compact powered sub.
Right.
In fact, we have an amplifier right here that the amp rating or the fuse rating on this amp is a 30 amp fuse. So this is an example of an amp you could safely and reliably install into most hybrid vehicles without causing yourself a problem.
And this one, they've got their power printed on the top, 300 watts by 1. So mono subwoofer amplifier, you'd be looking at adding this in. And for example, if you were swapping out the head unit in a hybrid and you wanted to add on a nice subwoofer amp, this would be a great choice because the head unit itself, we consider that basically a one-for-one swap. We're not changing the current draw to any significant amount. Maybe the new head unit draws 1 or 2 more amps of current possibly than the factory guy did. But if we're physically able to swap the head unit out, awesome. Then you have a higher quality sound signal coming into your amplifier and your speakers. So you can still use your head unit to drive the speakers. You can even, in most cases, you can swap the speakers out relatively easily in these cars.
And the way we know this amp is okay, what I'm showing off here is it has 2 fuses on the side. Each fuse is a 15 amp fuse. You combine the values together.
Correct.
So you have 30 amps of current draw potential from this amplifier.
Those 2 fuses are wired in parallel together on the circuit. If you've ever seen an underhood fuse holder for from a lot of the amp kits that we carry, you'll see inside a lot of those we have it has a 2 fuse setup, and they're just connected in parallel in the line, so the capacity doubles when
So
you have that.
when we're recommending to customers what type of an amp to get, that's what we're looking at. When we see that note on a hybrid vehicle, 30 amp current draw, we're looking at subwoofer and amplifiers and whatever we can do to your car that won't exceed 30 amps of current draw. So
Correct.
you're limited in what you can put in there, but that doesn't mean you can't make your car sound awesome.
Oh no, there's lots of great choices. I mean, this amp is wonderful. You can get a small, 8 or 10, maybe a 12 running off this. Nice,
Yeah.
efficient sub. The higher SPL range subs, put them in a box, that kind of thing. If you want an all-in-one solution, you could take a look at like some of our bazooka tubes. We've got a lot of those in the 100, 150, 200 watt range, things of that nature. If you're able to swap the head unit out, that's fantastic too. But even if you're not, there's lots of solutions for pulling signal off. Like, for example, this little key amp here.
Yeah, so that was a sub amp. That's a way to get more bass. This Kicker key amp, which I have heard installed, I first saw it at CES in the Kicker booth, and we happen to know that Kicker's watching right now, by the way. As
Fantastic.
Kicker said,
Hi,
it's great.
Kicker.
It's great to see Crutchfield putting out such fantastic content. Keep it up. Knowledge is power. Right on, Kicker. Thank you. But the Kicker key amp is a great example of something you might want to put in a hybrid vehicle. It won't draw more than 30 amps of current. It has this little microphone that you put in.
Fantastic little idea. A lot of people are just petrified of trying to tune a sound system.
Yeah.
This makes it really easy. I've installed a couple of these in different cars, and the before and after of the tuning versus not tuned, it helps keep me from having to walk through the entire set of equalizer and crossover settings for somebody's car with them. If they've got one of these, it's like plug it in and run it. Now how does it sound? Oh wow, that's really good.
And this Kicker amp will be 4 channels, around 45, 50 watts per channel, and will make your factory speakers sound significantly better. If you replace your speakers, of course, it will make your even better speakers sound even better,
Right.
without really potentially damaging your charging system in your hybrid or causing you problems in that regard. So it's a
Correct.
safe way to get really great sound. Are you going to win a competition level system? It's probably not that, but
No,
will it sound
you're not going to win
better?
any SPL competitions.
No.
But you will enjoy your daily drive a lot better because the system will sound a lot better.
And here's the fuse on that. So that is a, what is that, 20 amp?
That's a 20.
20 amp fuse on the amplifier or the wiring for the Kicker key. So totally
Right.
safe to run that in your hybrid. So we've been
Yeah,
dealing
you do,
with hybrids.
You do have to hook up your power cable from it to your positive post on your 12-volt battery and then ground the negative to the frame of the vehicle.
Yeah, it's still
Gotta
an
make sure.
amplifier
It's still an
installation.
amp install, correct.
It'll probably live inside your dash, right?
Lots
it's
of
small
places you
enough.
can stash it. Yeah, behind the head unit is normally the best
Under a
place
seat,
for it.
Yeah. So these are great options, and for hybrid vehicles, we've got a lot of those pretty well. We've been dealing with them for a while.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
seeing a lot more electric vehicles, and this changes the equation yet again, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was looking through our database actually this morning, and I printed out for myself just to see. I've got 19 and a half pages worth of hybrid vehicles here.
And we're now going to detail every single one of them
No,
for
no,
you.
no, not at all. I just wanted to see. I was thinking about it before the segment coming up today, and I was like, man, how many cars do we actually have? Because we've got thousands and thousands of vehicles researched in the database, and I've got 19 and a half pages, of hybrids, but only 3.5 pages of EVs in the system so far.
But
So,
we know
they're a
that
different
list
animal.
is about to start growing.
Yes.
I've been doing this for 25 years. I have a feeling you've been doing it even longer than that. You've seen over the years how things have changed in cars, and
Oh, yeah.
like for example, when data bus systems became a thing. Right? The first
like,
year there was a
what?
computer in a car that sort of controlled and monitored everything.
92 Cadillac.
Did we have an aftermarket solution right then and there? We didn't.
years.
And it's kind of a similar thing going on now with electric vehicles, right?
Right.
All these electric vehicles, there's not here you go, here's how to put a big, awesome audio system in an electric vehicle because there's so many unknowns in them right now.
Correct. Yeah. Unfortunately, the aftermarket world we have to actually get our hands on and take apart, and that's where we also have a lot going on with our partners in terms of, you know, the different manufacturers for the kits and everything. They've got to get their hands on them and find out, you know, the software that is involved in controlling the electrical systems, the level of control that they have these days, and what goes on with them, unfortunately, is an unknown because the manufacturers just don't tell anybody. They're, you know, Tesla is like, you know, lips are zipped there. They're not talking and handing out specs, you know. And you can't just go call up, you know, AutoZone and go, hey, can I get a software controller reader for a 2020 Tesla? No, I'm sorry, can't help you with that. So
we don't know what you can do without potentially causing your vehicle to stop working.
Right, throwing error codes, maybe shutting down on you, things of that nature. So erring on the side of caution and keeping with the Crutchfield noble purpose of trying to provide, you know, enriching experiences in your dealings with us, we don't want to put it out there to say, hey, yeah, go ahead, add yourself this 600-watt amplifier or whatever, that kind of thing, without knowing it will really work and be of a benefit to you, what kind of effects it's going to have on range. You know, different folks have that range anxiety thing going on, and if you add a large electrical current draw to your system, it's possible you're going to lose a few miles.
So in an electric vehicle, especially these newer ones, most of them have like huge fancy touch screens that are all integrated with the system.
So the head units themselves, right, those things are no longer just head units. They're a giant tablet with an operating system.
And you shouldn't even consider replacing that. No. There are no aftermarket solutions. We are a little gun shy to start adding big amps to them because of the way electrical vehicles work, and we don't know enough about that yet.
Right.
And so is there anything you can do at all to make that factory system sound better?
Well, at this point, the options are pretty limited. Yeah, it's speakers. You know, where possible to physically swap out speakers on the cars that we've literally gotten our hands on and taken apart and making the measurements. You know, swapping out speakers is your best option at this point. Because depending upon the clarity and quality of your electronics, having better speakers is going to make those things, you know, it's going to make your sound system sound better. They're like cleaning your windows, you know, makes the view out to whatever's out there in your world better.
So what you want to look for in a set of speakers, since you're not adding a new radio or a new amplifier to power them, you want to look for the most efficient speakers that you can fit in there that will also have better materials, better sound quality, and efficiency, and speakers that just don't need a ton of power. And that's what we've got right here on display.
Right, yeah. SPL ratings north of 89 or 90 is where I'd start, you know, that kind of thing, up in that range. 88, 89, 90, that would be my starting point in searching out.
So we pulled this particular pair of speakers to put in this video because of their efficiency. These are the Hertz Uno.
91.3?
Almost.
91.5?
More efficient than that.
Oh.
The Hertz X165s are the model of speakers. These are a $100 pair of 6.5-inch speakers with an efficiency rating of 93.5 dB.
Ooh, nice.
So what does that mean? If a speaker is, let's say, a 90 dB efficiency, which is a very common efficiency rating on a car speaker, and these are 93.
Okay.
What does that make a difference?
So the way that works, technically, quick tech lesson for you. The SPL rating of a speaker in dB is determined by a test by the manufacturer. We know it as the 1 watt 1 meter test. So they literally put a microphone out from the cone of the speaker, 39 inches, 1 meter, and they measure a particular tone and give us a number. It's like, how loud is it with 1 watt of power driving that tone out of that speaker as measured by a calibrated microphone.
Yeah.
And they give us that number so we can predict how loud something will be, because we know that every time we are able to double power into a speaker, starting at that 1 watt, we get 3 more decibels of sound out of it. So for the first watt hitting these guys, you're getting, what'd you say, 93.3?
93.5.
93.5. Okay, so if I double that to 2 watts of power, I'm going to go up to 96.5. I double that again to 4 watts of power. Every time you double it, every time you double the power you're at, you get 3 more dB of sound out of it. So how many watts do they handle?
These can handle up to 55 watts of RMS power.
Up to 55 watts. Okay, so now you're not going to have 55 watts RMS power out of the factory head unit in anything. Very, very few cars that I've ever seen have more than about 14, 15 watts RMS. In fact, that's pretty comparable to like most actual Pioneer head units that we've carried over the years, rated at 14 real watts, real RMS. So
I'm just thinking about the math you were doing, and now, so basically we're 3 dB more efficient than my hypothetical pair of 90 dB speakers.
yeah, let's say your factory head unit does 16 watts of power, right? That's 4 doublings. So I'm adding 12 dB to this, and he said 93, so I can get 105 dB out of these. And 103, 105, in that range.
And
which
compared
is
to
pretty
those
loud.
90 dB speakers, you will have a
noticeable increase.
It's not a subtle difference. It's a
No,
pretty big
it's a
difference.
very
So
noticeable difference
if you
in your
have one of
actual
those,
audio.
and you want to keep it efficient, so we're not taxing the electrical stuff in there
Correct.
in the vehicle. Anyway, we're talking about an electric vehicle.
Right,
So
these won't drive your
this
head
is something
unit any harder.
It's something you can do in any electric vehicle. If we've got the research on it, we can help you pick out speakers that will fit.
Oh, yeah.
And doing that isn't going to cause damage or error codes or anything like that.
Correct.
For the rest of what you can do in an electric vehicle, there's a lot of people currently working on it. Our vehicle research team is constantly evolving and trying to find new ways, and this is probably something they will have to figure out. What do we need to measure and check on electric vehicles? Aftermarket integration companies like iDataLink and Metra and Scosh and many others are probably looking at how can we figure out what can be done in these vehicles.
Right.
Pro installers are figuring this stuff out. You don't have to look hard on YouTube to find really advanced level installation guys showing videos of how they've put in a massive system in a Tesla. But this is like the pros go to these guys to figure it out because
Right.
it's not. They're adding extra stuff that most is not normally part of car stereo installation.
Right, and we're doing, the do-it-yourself, or maybe you're going to hire, a local mechanic or shop possibly to throw some stuff in for you out of what we sell. And we don't want to set anybody up for failure in terms of, damaging their car, having a bad experience, obviously being unhappy with us. And we're fairly conservative in our recommendations because of those reasons. There are plenty of things you can do in terms of improvement in your sound, and we're getting there on what else we might be able to do. I've found specs on some cars, and the more I've dug and more I've dug and more I've dug, it's just, they're just not publishing the information. Like I can call up any Chevy dealership and go, hey, what size is the alternator in this, whatever car, the Silverado, whatever it might be. But, calling up Tesla and going, hey, what's your DC-DC converter put out? And
Elon Musk doesn't answer the phone and give you that spec?
No. They won't answer.
So if you've purchased an electric vehicle and it's not sounding as good as you wanted to and you wish you could do this stuff, we want to be there to help you, and we, along with all the other people and organizations, are certainly working on it. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it is going to happen. We will figure out a way to make sure you can have great sound in these cars, but there's a lot of unknowns, and we're just not willing to recommend stuff until we know them. And Chris here is going to have to
Exactly.
deal with those calls and tech support if we start selling stuff if we don't know it works in your car. So we're not doing that.
Right.
And Chris, thank you so much for joining me here today and talking about electric vehicles.
Absolutely,
it is
brother.
clearly a hot topic based on the poll and how many vehicles are out, and so yeah, thanks, man.
We're working on it. By this time next year, I anticipate we'll have a lot more information, but it's still going to be, companies like Tesla being as tight-lipped as they are, we're going to have to find real-world data from people experimenting on stuff. The thing is, we don't experiment on the cars so much as find what really works.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you very much. We're going to bring in one last special guest for today. While Eric is coming in, are you guys ready to play this other video?
Take care, guys.
Or are we going to clear this stuff first? I'll tell you what's coming. We have Eric is coming in to talk about our demo days. And, we are regularly setting up stuff, speakers, stereos, stuff like that to listen to. Here's a speaker.
Yep.
There's this would be a Wharfdale, and Eric, you were part of setting these up and getting a demonstration of these speakers, how they sound for our sales advisors, right?
Right, and as we discussed, I think on the first Crutchfield Live that we did a
That's
few
right.
weeks ago, this used to be something that the people who make these things would come and do for us.
Vendor trainings.
Yes.
Yeah, normal. This would happen twice a week throughout most of the year as our vendor would bring in their product and give us time to get our hands on it, listen to their speakers, play their music and amplifiers and all that stuff, and that's not been happening for almost 2 years now.
Right. And so we've started to do that ourselves. We always did it ourselves.
The other problem is most of our employees have been at home, so even if we had these set up, they couldn't come in. Now things are, seeming to trend in the right direction, and more people can get into the office. So setting up speakers to listen to now really benefits people.
Right. And the way that this particular demonstration started out was with a request. Chris was talking about how we want people to have a good experience, and sometimes people will. That's just comes from us giving them the full information, as much information as we can possibly give them. And with these Wharfdale speakers, a lot of people were getting them and saying, "I'm not getting a lot of bass from these," and they are generally designed to be very accurate. They don't offer a lot of bass. This is just like a 5-inch woofer here. It doesn't go play very deep. So we decided we wanted to set up a kind of a demonstration where we could show the difference between bass you can hear and bass you can really feel. So we set up these Wharfdales, and to compare them, we also have these ELACs, which are a 3-way speaker with a 6.5-inch woofer and this slot port in the front. You can hear a lot more bass with these. We hooked both of these up to a Parasound amplifier, and Parasound is one of those vendors that came on while we were all in lockdown, and we never got a chance to try their stuff out.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting for us to be able to hook it up and really play around with it. And that Parasound thing was a star. I can just tell you that. It gives you 160 watts into 8-ohm speakers, which is what these do. But it's also very versatile. It'll go down to 4, and ELAC likes to do this weird thing where theirs are 6 ohms.
Okay.
So the Parasound could play this and this just fine. We didn't have to mess around and get a different amp in there. It was ready to go no matter what we hooked up to it. So we did that, but then I said, I wanted bass we could feel. That's where this guy comes in.
Subwoofer.
Yeah, we added this subwoofer so that people could try these without, like, let's hear how much bass I can get without a subwoofer, and then they could turn this on and really kick it into high gear. This sucker is an 8-inch subwoofer with a 9x11 downfiring passive radiator. I wonder if we can see that sucker on the bottom. So that gives us a lot of extra oomph when you do that. And it's got a 1,000-watt Class D amplifier and everything. And let's see, that goes down to 18 hertz. So that's,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's like chest rumbling bass.
Yeah.
Like you can really feel it. And you can tell it's kind of an unusual shape as well. They don't go for those straight lines. And that's part of their philosophy of what makes it sound so great. So we had a lot of fun playing around with all of that. And then, true to kind of the Crutchfield ethos, our director of tech support said, while we've got this amplifier here, I'm going to kind of play around and see if I can make my own speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to hear those?
I never heard them,
Okay,
unfortunately.
I got to hear them. I did a little video about them, but yeah, those speakers that you're about to see in this short little video we powered them with the same amp that we used for that Parasound massive amplifier. Yeah. These speakers that Phil, our director of tech support, built himself do not need anywhere near this much power, but we gave it to him anyway. And are we ready to cue that up? All right, cue the video. Hey everybody, it's Training Manager JR here. I'm in our vendor training room, and we have another demo days set up. We have a couple pairs of really nice bookshelf speakers, a pair of ELACs, and a pair of Wharfdales. We're playing these for advisors so they can hear the difference. But what I'm going to do for you right now is something a little different. Instead, we've got another pair of speakers I'd like to play for you. Our director of tech support got to doing some research and built some speakers of his own. They are right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. We're playing my band on Tidal on this iPad over Bluetooth into this really, really powerful amplifier back here. And here you go. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Bring that camera over here real quick. You can look at the back of these to see what's going on.
As bright as the sun, we cannot say goodnight till the day's work is done.
All right, here's what's going on here. These are two styrofoam panels. On the back of them are two transducers, which is basically the motor structure of a speaker without the diaphragm. The part that you see moving in and out, it's not there. It's just the magnet and the voice coil, and there's a thing moving in and out, creating vibrations when you play songs. It's basically a speaker without the diaphragm, and it's attached to these styrofoam panels, and it basically excites them. It causes them to vibrate. They become the surface playing music. So the vibrations you're hearing are this styrofoam vibrating in response to those exciters. You can make a pair of these speakers for under $100. Find a small amplifier and you're good to go. They handle about 30 or 40 watts each. We happen to be driving them with a really, really powerful home amplifier. We could pump 200 watts into them if we wanted, but then our styrofoam would probably catch on fire. So we're not going to do that. I just wanted to show you something fun that is happening here at Crutchfield today. Thanks to our director of tech support, Phil. He's probably going to set these up in some kind of Halloween display next year. Knowing him, he's really into that. So anyway, just wanted you to see what's going on here. We'll do a separate video on these bookshelf speakers because they're deserving of their own video. Thanks for watching. And we're back. So that was pretty fun. Phil from our tech support created those speakers off of a video that he watched on YouTube. He said this guy basically gives you all the tools you need to figure this out. The stuff he was using technically was not styrofoam. I misquoted that in the video. It's unfaced polystyrene foam panels is what he actually used to make those speakers. I couldn't believe how much sound they made, and they did sound a lot better with that subwoofer you had out there earlier. Another demo we did recently was we set up two turntables, one of them with a separate phono preamp, and the other one was using the built-in phono preamp. Same turntables. Right. And we wanted to kind of hear what the difference was. Once again, we took advantage of the Parasound amplifier. You can see it going on the screen right now. Those two turntables, one of them with the phono preamp, one of them with the built-in phono preamp. You didn't get to experience this one, did you? Or did you?
No, I did not show up for that one in person. I will say that it's very common these days to have either your
that's what you're seeing right now. That's the Project, the phono preamp with the tube preamps on it.
Right, and that makes a huge difference. Like it is nice for convenience to have that preamp built into either your receiver, your turntable, even powered stereo speakers. You can get it that way, but when you choose something like that Project, then that gives you a lot more flexibility. And you were able to hear it, and you said that the way it sounded was very different.
Yeah, no, it was like there was more sound to work with. Like the amplifier had more to work with, which means it sounded a little fuller, a little richer, and at the exact same volume level, you just got more out of it. And that's why a phono preamp exists, because you don't get a whole lot of sound from the needle in the groove. You need something to boost that up, and you want that thing that boosts that up to do a really good job of that, and that's what a dedicated separate phono preamp does. We've got a bunch to choose from. I'm here to tell you the one I heard made a difference. Simple as that. And your sales advisors that you'll be talking to on the phones, many of them also got to hear that and see that as well, so they can help you pick out a phono preamp if you're looking to enhance your turntable experience. We're almost done. Doug did say sup, and that's been a few minutes ago, so I apologize for not getting to you soon. I don't know if you're still watching, Doug, but I appreciate it. Sam online said, excellent topic, thank you. DJ Theo 703 said, hello from Northern Virginia. So thank you guys for sticking with us. We're almost going to wrap this up, but you may see this thing behind us here that looks like a spaceship or something that might have been floating around in the movie Dune. It's not. It's a new product that we are now selling from a new company called Syng. The product is called the Syng Cell Alpha. And the company started, and the design of this thing is done by Chris Stringer. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Who's Chris Stringer?
He is a designer who worked for Apple and kind of created some of the designs that we have become basically ubiquitous in our lives. Yeah.
This phone,
he's
this
got one.
watch.
Yeah, the
MacBooks,
early iPods,
yeah.
MacBooks, yeah, all that stuff. So he's obviously a very design-centric guy, but and so he designed this something that doesn't look like any other speaker we've ever seen, quite frankly. But it also doesn't sound like anything else we've ever heard. So he's definitely got the chops when it comes to making music sound good.
It does, and we just recently picked it up. The web pages are now live. As of today, one of our most talented writers ever that works at Crutchfield wrote the pages to tell you all about what's going on in the Syng speaker. And so you can now see it and purchase it, it's in stock.
Yeah.
We got them in stock. I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case. Now that I can see them online, they are actually in stock. You can
Do we have to give him this one?
No. This one's going to stay here in the video
Okay,
studio. This thing is available in 2 flavors. It's the exact same speaker with 2 different stands.
Right.
So there's the 6.5-inch table stand, and then there's the tall floor stand, which you're seeing in the video now. But they're like basically a wireless home speaker.
I would like to say that part of the reason I wrote this particular page is because I got a chance to hear them before we even ordered them. They sent some guys out here to demonstrate these for us, and we have a house on the property here at Crutchfield. And they set up 2 of them on this floor stand and then 1 on the table stand. So we had 3 going at the same time. You can play them in sync, and it's incredible. It really filled the space around us. What I say on the page that I wrote is, like, with most speakers, you have to tow them around and then you sit in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
The sweet spot is everywhere with this.
That's kind of what it does. That is different than most other speakers. Is there is no one. There's no left. There's no right. There's no front. There's no back. Its job is to basically fill your entire room with sound, and the app does a really neat job of allowing you to move that focused sound, so you can make it sound better at your desk or at your couch or the entire room. The more you use, the fuller it will sound. You can use up to 3 in like 1 room, and all controlled by the app. You can have 4, like all in your house. If you want to do multi-room audio, you can do that. And it looks great. We just yesterday did a product spotlight video where we went over all the technical details. I'm not going to bore you with all of them here. Suffice it to say, there's 2 woofers that make a lot of bass. Right. There's 3 horn driver arrays with a mid-range and a tweeter in each one, and it looks awesome. I love products you can see into. It sounds awesome, and I want to play it for you. You would not like it if I tried to tell you how great this thing sounded and didn't play it for you. So I'm going to turn it up. I've got a song playing now. Now, keep in mind, this is compressed. It's through YouTube, right? How does it sound for you at your end versus here for me in the room with it? So it sounds different for me than it will for you, just simply because I'm in the room with it. But
I'd like to point out this does not come with the speaker. This
Yeah.
bit on top.
the most defining feature of this is how much bass it's got, and you can't really hear how much bass is actually happening, but you can see it. So these are Crutchfield packing peanuts that we have sitting on top, just so you can see that woofer move. And I've got it turned up not even to half volume yet. And you can see them rumbling a little bit, but this is a warning for our producer that I'm about to turn it up to full blast, so you maybe not hear the bass, but you'll be able to see the bass. Here we go. So hopefully that was effective. They let me do that. I know it's DJ Theo 703 still watching, says it's omnidirectional. Absolutely, omni in all directions.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they're going for. So that's the Cell Alpha by Syng. It's available on our website. It's in stock. $17.99 is the price on it today for the one with the tabletop stand, and the one with the floor stand. Right. It's like 1,900 something, right?
Yeah,
Almost 2,000, which sounds like a lot until you hear it. This thing really does do a nice job. Plus, it's a conversation starter, and that guy from Apple designed it. So it's not, it's not going to be cheap, but it is going to be awesome. So I think we're going to wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
I don't see any more comments coming in. Thank you to all those who did comment and ask questions. You are what make this more fun. Talking about the stuff is great. Actually interacting with real people that are picking up what we're putting down is really where I have a lot of fun. Just a couple things to wrap up. Check out Crutchfield the podcast. Go to crutchfield.com/podcast for all of season 1 and season 2. Bonus episodes. We'll have our live videos going into the podcast now. And we've got more live videos coming soon in a few weeks, probably in the middle of December. We'll do this again. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll probably have some more like last minute Christmas gifts. Probably something we're going to talk about. And we'll get it figured out. And so just keep an eye on our Facebook, on our YouTube, on our community page. We'll let you know when that is going to happen again. Big thanks to everyone in the background here feeding me these comments and moving stuff in and out. Big thanks to Peter talking about Christmas gifts, Chris from Tech Support helping us out with electric vehicles, Eric here talking about the Syng and the Wharfdales and the Golden Ear, and then Francis, of course, talking about OLEDs and LEDs. Couldn't do it without all the wonderful support of the crew behind the scenes as well. I'm JR, training manager here at Crutchfield, signing off. Have a great weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time.
Head on back to reality. I guess it's time to go. Find out where we've been. I guess it's all the same. Living in a dream. It's 10 o'clock in the morning now. There's no time left for play. I guess it doesn't matter though. We never played much anyway. I guess it's time to go. To find out where we've been. I guess it's all the same. Living in a dream. Running away from life. Running away from life. Can run very far away. Time is running. Time is running. Time is running. Time is running out. It's 2 a.m. in the morning now. It's almost time for bed. Doesn't matter 'cause the TV's on. It's only on inside my